That's crazy, bro. It's like telling me to do a book report on a book I ain't never read. I'm supposed to take these lessons from you on a report that I ain't seen myself? I don't know, man. It sounds like blind allegiance right there. It sounds like just blindly following. Yeah, I can't do that. I don't know. I don't know about you, but I just cannot do that. And shout out to my man Lunatic Libertarian. He says the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists warned of this situation. To believe any of these pundits is self-destruction. Believe none of them. Self-rely. Now, that's probably the best thing you can do is always be self-reliant in any way, shape, or form. And if you're not, well, try to do it now. Because I mean, the more reliant you are on the system, the more if the system goes, God forbid, I mean, you're gonna go with it.
Copy of the autopsy, and that in turn forced Ken Martin to finally release it, with some caveats. When I received the report late last year, it wasn't ready for primetime, not even close. Now, the author of the autopsy was Paul Rivera, a Democrat operative who hadn't worked on a presidential bid since John Kerry's losing campaign in 2004. And according to Ken Martin, Rivera did this work for free or something.
The person and people who are involved in it were not paid to do this work, okay? The person we asked to do this is an unpaid advisor to the DNC.
Wait, let me get this straight. The Democratic Party, which spent over $1 billion to spectacularly lose the 2024 election, couldn't find the cash to actually pay someone to figure out why they lost. CNN reports, though he'd set the autopsy as a priority, Ken Martin decided to have Rivera in charge as a part-time volunteer while juggling other clients. Rivera would sometimes say he was available to conduct interviews only before 9 a.m., after 7 p.m., or on weekends. So the DNC's massive, comprehensive post-mortem was being run as a part-time side hustle by a guy squeezing it in between breakfast and bedtime. Now, the report is not remotely finished. Every single page has a disclaimer on the top saying, this document reflects the views of the author, not the DNC. The DNC was not provided with the underlying sourcing, interviews, or supporting data.
Bro, they disclaimed this man in the writing. Bro, they read this bullshit and they were like, yeah, bro, we ain't putting our name on it. How about this? You can put your name on it and we'll put the disclaimer that we do not rock with you in any way, shape, or form. But I guess you could release this under us. That is hilarious. This document reflects the views of the author, not the DNC. The DNC was not provided with the underlying sourcing, interviews, or supporting data for many of the assertions contained herein, and therefore cannot independently verify the claims presented. Well, then why the hell is this such an important document? I mean, why not just redo it instead of putting out this sloppy ass work? Like, come on now.
For many of the assertions contained herein, and therefore cannot independently verify the claims presented. I mean, it sure seems like sources were supposed to be provided. As the report states, a traditional bibliography can be found here, and more data is provided in the appendix below. An appendix that doesn't exist, by the way. So why weren't Ken Martin and the DNC provided any of the sourcing or the quotes from interviews? And why didn't Ken Martin demand to see the actual receipts or the source material? Well, couldn't tell you. Instead, he released a report riddled with over 250 annotations like, no evidence provided for this claim, or contradicts claims elsewhere in the report. Hang on, I thought Ken Martin said that the review was complete. I am not proud of this product. It does not meet my standards, and it won't meet your standards. I don't endorse what's in this report or what's left out of it. I could not, in good faith, put the DNC stamp of approval on it. In short, I didn't want to create a distraction. Ironically, in doing so, I ended up creating an even bigger distraction. And for that, I sincerely apologize.
It's like, yeah, you should have just turned in that I'm being real with you, that F paper that you were like, yeah, if we was to grade it, I guess this would be an F. And because you took so long to turn it in, now the punishment is going to be 10 times worse on your ass. When you should have just turned in this terrible report, everybody was going to grill you on it. They were going to be like, what the heck is this? And maybe you guys could have went back and made some changes. But here's the thing, though. Why turn this bullshit in if y'all know it was bad? Y'all honestly had the time to make some corrections here. I mean, maybe they left it in the wrong guy's hands. Maybe that's the case there, and they might need a fire, bro.
So to be clear, when Ken Martin said,
hopefully he's not black or a woman, or they're gonna have a hard time doing that.
quote, "The review is complete," he was lying. In reality, it was a half-baked, unsourced train wreck written by a part-time volunteer. But instead of just admitting that the DNC totally botched the assignment, Ken Martin tried to spin burying the report as some kind of brilliant strategic move to avoid a distraction.
People, of course, want to weaponize the report in a way to look backwards, to point fingers, place blame in a way that actually doesn't keep us focused on the upcoming election. Instead of navel gazing and looking backwards and trying to relitigate 2024, I don't know about you, John, but I don't have a time machine. I don't think you do. No one does. So we can't change what happened in 24.
So we need to learn the lessons from the 2024 election, but we have to do it by looking forward, not backwards. Makes sense to me. What's your problem? And this is indicative of the DNC's entire operation right now. Not only could they not manage to finish an election report, but they can't even manage their own checkbook. According to the most recent reporting period, the Republican National Committee has $95 million in cash on hand with zero in reported debt. The DNC, on the other hand, only has around 13 million cash on hand, but with around 17 million in reported debt. I guess that explains why they had to rely on an unpaid part-time volunteer to write their highly anticipated postmortem, because they literally couldn't afford to hire anybody else. Well, it turns out that the old saying is true. You get what you pay for, because this free report is just an incoherent and unfocused mess. Just look at this glaring historical error. The report refers to the 2022 Georgia Senate election, where Democrat Senator Raphael Warnock went up against Republican challenger Herschel Walker. This was a blatant attempt by the Republican power base to take advantage of name recognition and tough economic conditions to push through an unqualified candidate whose job would have been little more than rubber stamping the president's agenda.
You know, so crazy. It looks like this report might be the RNC report coming soon. If we keep playing like this might actually be the same thing. Like, these Democrats are going to run the same strategy that we ran on them in 2022. Because, well, they weren't willing to just walk away from Biden and some of his bad policies, just like the Republicans aren't willing to walk away from Trump and some of his bad policies. So they can invoke the same strategy, and it has some success.
So according to the report, Republican Herschel Walker, running for the Senate in 2022, was going to rubber stamp the president's agenda. Except for one thing. In 2022, Joe Biden was the president. But brilliant analysis, Paul. You're doing God's work. And this same report, bursting at the seams with brain-dead factual errors, actually spends multiple pages extensively whining about misinformation and disinformation. There is an obvious and conscious effort by foreign and domestic actors to shape electoral choices through misinformation and disinformation directed at American voters. Misinformation and disinformation are effective when there is a lack of trust or confidence in leaders and platforms, leading voters susceptible to whatever they see or hear. But on the other hand, the report makes several false claims like nearly 3,000 people stormed the United States Capitol building, leading to the deaths of 5 people, including one Capitol police officer who was beaten to death by the insurrectionists. And the report also claims that Hillary Clinton lost in 2016 because of massive election interference.
Oh, wow. I mean, ain't that crazy? When Donald Trump says it, oh my God, he's a conspiracy theorist, he's a loon. But let Hillary Clinton say it. You know what? She might actually have a case here. Okay. The lack of consistency is amazing. I swear to God, it's also astounding, the lack of consistency that comes out of both parties, especially the Democrats.
Ah, yes, literal election denial and long debunked hoaxes, proudly printed in the very same document crying about misinformation. The hypocrisy is so thick that you could barely cut it with a chainsaw. Now, I know a lot of you were expecting a deep dive analysis on the DNC 2024 autopsy, But the truth is, it's an unfinished mess showing a level of incompetence that honestly explains exactly why the Democrats got steamrolled in 2024.
Literally.
Better than the actual report ever could. In fact,
It's like they can't even write down their mistakes. That's the worst part about it. They can't even write down their mistakes what led to such an crazy loss. They can't even write it down, which means they're due to repeat said mistakes.
The report is most notable for what isn't in it,
Even write down
like
the damn
sections
mistakes.
vital to literally any professional document, including an executive summary or even a conclusion. And what it didn't address is glaring. For starters, it completely ignored the impact of the Democratic Party and the media spending years attempting to gaslight voters into believing that Joe Biden was fit for a second term.
I've said it for years now. He's cogent. But I undersold him when I said he was cogent. He's far beyond cogent. In fact, I think he's better than he's ever been. Start your tape right now, because I'm about to tell you the truth. And F you if you can't handle the truth. This version of Biden, intellectually, analytically, is the best Biden ever.
The report also didn't give an
that was
analysis
hilarious.
as to how Joe Biden's decision to run again set off a chain of events that ended with the party staging a desperate last-minute coup against their own sitting president, only to bypass the voters and undemocratically crown Kamala Harris as the nominee without a single primary vote. The report didn't address Kamala Harris's failure to differentiate herself from Joe Biden.
If anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
And what about Harris's extremely poor choice of a running mate? And Tim Walz's psychopath wife.
You just show me this. Turn the page, right? Turn the page. And you know what else that looks like? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Donald Trump. We are turning the page. 52 days and we are turning the page.
That is the first time she ever got a real applause in her life, and she is milking it.
52 days and it is bye-bye, Donald Trump. That's right.
The autopsy didn't address how Trump was ultimately a better campaigner and how he achieved several viral moments late in the campaign, like appearing in a McDonald's, riding in a garbage truck, or appearing on the Joe Rogan Experience. On the other hand, Kamala Harris came across like a robot, with every speech being a copy.
She had viral fumbles, viral word salads. Like, what was it? To be unburdened by what has been? Yeah, that was probably one of the best word salad lines she ever had. Still don't know what it means, but it sounds good.
Taste of the previous speech. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here's Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks.
Every single rally speech was pathetic. It was the same speech every single time, the same message every single time.
I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood with a working mother who kept a strict budget. I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood with a working mother who kept a strict budget. I grew up in a middle-class neighborhood.
No, and the most embarrassing part about this is like, bro, first black woman. I'm just like, please, no, she's Indian. No, we'll let the Indians have her. Please don't push her on us. The black community would like to disown Kamala Harris, please and thank you. We would like to leave her to the Indian community that she so proudly claimed while she was running for AG, running on being the first Indian AG. You remember that one? Remember that slogan right there? Yeah, stick with that. We don't want you on this side, Kamala. We're good.
The working mother who kept a strict budget. I come from the middle class. I know what I'm talking about. I come from the middle class.
You don't?
From the middle class.
She's awkward.
Come from the middle class, but you went to a private girls' school. Come from the middle class, but your parents had money out there in Jamaica. But you come from the middle class. Shoot, your parents had slave money out there in Jamaica. But you come from the middle class, though. Private schools and all. All right. Okay.
She's uncomfortable in her own skin.
Okay, now I want each of you to shout your own name. Do that.
No passion behind it, no real genuine or no sincerity behind it.
Prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high. You know it and I know it. While inflation is down and wages are up, prices are still too high. You know it and I know it. You know it and I know it. You know it and I know it. You know it and I know it.
It was just a robotic, weird, over-rehearsed speech, and it was the same speech again and again and again.
You know, so crazy. This is why I actually like the Young Turks, because they're like literally the few Democrats that actually, you know, criticize their own party. Like, yeah, they go hard on Republicans, but they also go hard on Democrats. You got to respect that. So shout out to the Young Turks. And yeah, I do it too. I go hard on both sides. But man, bro, Kamala Harris, I didn't even know how y'all was really trying to sell this. Every day I listened to her rallies, and trust me, I listened to mostly all of her rallies, and it was the same thing over and over again. No real plan, and no real message, just F Trump. And that's what was the weird thing about it. And here's the other weird thing: the fact that she was just stealing policy at a certain point, like no tax on tips and no tax on overtime. She was like, "Oh, you like that? Well, I'll take that from Trump, and I'll do it too." And then she released her tax plan, and then boom, you figure out that she's going to raise taxes on everybody.
Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again stand behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Never again.
But despite running one of the most painfully inauthentic campaigns in modern political history, Kamala Harris hasn't gotten the hint. In fact, she's already threatening us with a sequel.
So are you going to run again in 28?
Listen, I might. I'm thinking about it.
Don't threaten us with a good time, Kamala. But while the Republicans would love nothing more than a Kamala sequel, the Democratic establishment is currently mashing the panic.
Yo, Chad, now I hear you, bro, but where was the commitment? I mean, if this was a plan for decades, then where was the commitment towards said plan? It's like when Trump got the little ceasefire in Gaza, and they were trying to say, well, you know, that was Biden's ceasefire. He went off Biden's plan. I'm like, then why didn't he implement said plan? I mean, I get it. I'm pretty sure a Democrat did bring it up because Trump used to be no Democrat. I get that argument, but then no implication of it. That's the problem here. I mean, you could have the plan all you want, but if you're not implementing that plan, then I can't really give you the credit. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody had the credit. I'm pretty sure everybody there's a lot of people who had a plan, not a plan, but an idea of a product. The people who made the money off the product is those who actually implemented the plan. Like, I'm pretty sure everybody had a plan for the same business idea, but who actually implemented the business idea, those who got rewarded for it. So you can have the plan all you want, but if there's no implementation, I can't give you the credit. And please remind me who was saying that too. Like, no, it's a serious question though. Who actually was saying that on the Democrat side? Like, serious question.
Button. The same day that the DNC's 2024 autopsy was released, Vanity Fair published a piece called "Who Wants Kamala Harris to Run?" The answer will not surprise you.
Now, honestly though, if they'd have got somebody like maybe Josh Shapiro or somebody else that could speak pretty well, Trump wouldn't have decimated the Democrats the way he did in the last election. They just had a better candidate. Even I can sit there and admit that as somebody who voted for Trump, that if the Republicans had a better candidate, it'd have been pretty hard for Trump to win. Like, just saying.
From her close advisors, none spoke enthusiastically about a Harris 2028 campaign. No, says one former Harris campaign advisor when asked if she should run. It's obviously a bad idea. I have spoken to maybe one person out of 100 who thinks she should run, says another. Whether it's former campaign colleagues, people around DC, or just people around the country who are like, oh God, she's not going to run again. One veteran Democratic operative said, I have been all over the country for these midterms, and I have not encountered anybody who said, boy, I really hope Kamala runs. Will she run? Most likely, yes. Should she? Absolutely not, says a former White House aide. There is no appetite for the former vice president to return to the campaign trail. And one Democratic consultant claims, I can't really name.
I'm sorry, but after taking that loss that she has, taking the loss that she has, why would she even want to do it again? Like, you're gonna be going up against the same party, against the same like group of people, pretty much, and you're gonna lose. Like, if Kamala was to run again, yeah, she'd most likely lose. And y'all can find a way better candidate than Kamala Harris and AOC and Gavin Newsom. I know the Democrats can. The problem is those guys just aren't the most popular people, sadly.
One person who is excited about the prospect of her running or thinks that it would wind up being a successful endeavor. So the entire Democrat machine is practically begging her to ride off into the sunset and never come back. But what does Kamala's inner circle think? Well, apparently...
Nah, yo, shout out to Chad, because that's also true. The tax policy and the Gaza, I ain't gonna lie, that really did sink Biden. Like, they was calling him Genocide Joe and all that good stuff. He wasn't really being hands-on with the Israelis. Kind of like he would say stuff, but he wouldn't really, enforce it. And they would kind of just walk all over him. And that's why, like, the worst of the genocide did happen under Biden. So, yeah, that did lose a lot of Dems. The tax policy, I mean, they definitely could have did better. And that's the problem. The Dems always come in saying, yo, we could do this. We can help the American people save money here, there, and everywhere. All of a sudden, they're raising taxes and making things more expensive. Like, I'm not really sure what's up with Dems on that note. And here's the thing. That's not like the old Dems. These are like current Dems that do this bullshit. Like, we all got to admit that as well.
They're living in fantasy land. Harris's team has heard all this criticism, and they're prone to dismissing it as petty Beltway bitterness. I think it's crazy, says a current Harris advisor. She got more votes than anyone else who's thinking about running. She has national experience.
Okay.
She almost beat Trump last time, even in terrible circumstances of a short campaign, Biden's unpopularity, inflation, says a former White House official, and there should be no reason that she wouldn't be well-placed to beat Trump's success.
I don't know, bro. That's a whole lot of variables and circumstances you got to take away before she can win. I don't know about all that.
Under better circumstances. She almost beat Trump. She lost the Electoral College by 86 votes and only carried 19 states while Trump took 31. She got absolutely steamrolled, but don't let reality get in the way of a good delusion. So Kamala is already out there plotting her glorious comeback, and she's kicking it off exactly how you'd expect, by blessing us with some freshly untossed, unburdened word salad.